Hi guys, it's the Nivs with another video, doing things a little bit different today, doing it live, so it's practically straight after the episode, uh, which was Demons in the Punjab, episode 6. I can't believe that we're actually we're over halfway through at the moment. Crazy. Thought I'd do things live, so before we continue, sorry if there's any bad language. Um, Stephen, yeah, if there's any bad language, do apologise about that. Like I said, I'm doing it live and I get a bit heated. And secondly, might be lots of So anyway, let's just crack on with Demons of the Punjab, episode 6. So TARDIS lands in 1947. And at first, my first instinct was, okay, this is going to be a little bit of maybe a Father's Day type scenario, maybe a Father's Day type scenario. I thought it was going to be a bit like that. Okay, let's go back and you can see your nanny. Let's go back and see your nan, and yeah, that's what I thought. Father's Day. This is going to be all right. The episode as a whole, I thought, was not to its usual standards. I'm not sure if anybody else agrees, but I didn't think it was as good as all the previous episodes. It just felt not very Doctor Who-y to me, to be honest with you. It just didn't feel right. The once again, it's another story, another Doctor Who story, where the villains, if you like, the aliens weren't the villains. They were just a race. What were they called? The Vajarians or the Fajarians? I prefer them to be called the Vajarians, but that's just me. See, this is why I always edit my videos. My brain just says stuff. Storyline, I thought the story was good. It was a good, well-written story. It was pretty straightforward all the way through. There was a couple of like little comedy moments which I personally found quite amusing, like the I've never done this before. Well, I never did this when I was a man, and then trying to dig a way out of it. So I thought that was quite a little funny moment when they were having the what they called, I think they're henna tattoos. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think they're henna tattoos that were on the guy's hands there, and the fact that I thought it was quite good that the doctor mentioned that she officiated Einstein's wedding. I thought that was once again another funny moment there. The villains of the story, well, obviously the younger brother, the Indian Harry Potter. I thought he was obviously the villain of the story, but the way that the world is nowadays when it comes to families, and especially in a quite a topical story, actually being in the UK, it's Remembrance Day, so having these aliens going around remembering the fallen, I thought was quite good, especially on a day in the UK like today, being the like a celebration, if you like, or remembrance of the end of the First World War. Thanks a lot for your comments, guys. I will go through them after, but let's just do this review first, and then we can do a little bit of a Q&A. Excuse me, my phone may go off from time to time. But I found that the villain of this story, was there a villain? I don't believe that there was actually a villain in this story, which is quite rare for Doctor Who, really, to not actually have a villain of the story. The aliens, I mean, yeah, I thought they were good. I thought the aliens were a good thing to have, like I said earlier, in an episode like this on Remembrance Day. Nice to see Yaz getting a bit more action. They laid off the Yaz Ryan situation for a little bit, and it was nice to see Graham actually giving his advice. He's obviously like the father, isn't he, of these two guys, and it was nice to actually him to talking to people and see, his little conversation with Yaz. It sort of got home a little bit too, and obviously having a conversation with the forget me if I'm wrong, the Indian husband at the end of the story. Forgive me, I forgot his name. knowing full well that this guy was about to die, was quite prominent. And so I think the Graham character, there's not too much of him, and there's just enough of him, if you get where I'm coming from. Overall, not one of the best stories I've seen. I'm not saying it was bad. I enjoyed it. I watched it all the way through, and it was okay. But it wasn't one of my personal favourites. It's not one. It's not one of the ones I'm going to be watching again. Now, we all have these episodes where I've watched it and I'm thinking, will I go back to watch that one again? No. Time Heist, for example, one of Peter Capaldi's. I watched it once. I won't watch it again. I think this is going to be one of those stories which I've seen. I'm not going back. I thought that the end of the story was a bit Back to the Future-y. If you're with me now, follow me where I'm coming from here. In the film Back to the Future, for those who've not seen it, the main character inadvertently meets his parents, changes a few things, and at the end of the original Back to the Future movie, do his mum and dad know it was him in the past? So I'm thinking to myself, well, the grandmother, the nanny, did she sort of recognise that it was Yaz back in the past? It was a pretty big deal. It was a pivotal moment in her life, the day that the watch smashed. She must remember who was there at that wedding. Correct me if I'm wrong. So does the nan know? Didn't look like it, which to me felt was a bit like, I'd like to have seen a scene going, the nan going, you know, I know. Anyway, overall, like I said earlier, not a bad story. Wasn't one of the best. I'm going to mark this one a little bit lower than I have. I'm going to give it a 7. So it was above average, obviously, but not one of the best. I would like to have seen a little bit more action, if you like. I just think that this being, season 6, episode 6 was not as good as the others, if you're with me. Sorry, I will get to your comments in just a moment. So 7 out of 10. Next week's episode, I'm hoping we might hear a little bit about from a previous episode where the alien turned around to the doctor and said the child of time. I think it was something like that. Was that something to do with an arc, a hidden arc? I haven't noticed any hidden arc. I thought there was going to be a little secret one knocking about, but there isn't. So anyway, over to you guys. 7 out of 10. That's my honest opinion of this week's episode. So let's carry on. So I thought the aliens were great. Yeah, I totally agree. The aliens were great. What's Isaac saying? I think that the series isn't bad. It's just different. In fact, I actually am quite annoying most of the episode. It's just the fact that the X and Capaldi period was pretty similar. Yeah, I totally agree with you, to be honest with you. Yeah, a couple of other people are commenting here. So Aiden's a great, Doctor Who's great, how you doing, Paul? Yeah, 8 out of 10, fair play to you. Maybe we'll see the aliens in season 12 before their home's destroyed and there were still assassins. Yes, now I'd love to see that. That would be pretty cool, actually, to actually see. We only saw obviously the 3D graphics of the aliens actually. Well, what happened to the aliens, what happened to their planet? It'd be good to see them actually being the assassins and the Doctor to encounter them before, but in a previous state. Let's see, maybe the Stenza destroyed the planet, maybe. Better than, oh yeah, Tassangra, yeah. Yeah, okay, but each to their own, you know what I mean? This is my least favourite episode of the season so far. But yeah, any more comments? What did you guys think about the comedy aspect of the episode? I mean, did you actually find it a bit funny? What bit did you find funny the most? Like I said to you, it was the I never had this with them when I was a man, and her trying to get out of it, and the Einstein officiated Einstein's wedding. I thought that was one of the funnier moments. I mean, it's a pivotal story. What's going on in that episode is actually happening now. With the obviously with race and what have you like that. So it's another topical story, and don't get me wrong, I like these topical stories, but it gets a bit too topical. If that makes any sense. Sorry, the scamp. How you doing? I was struggling to follow. I was struggling a bit to follow what was going on. I was at first, but like I said at the beginning, I thought this was potentially going to be. How you doing? Paul. How you doing, mate? Sorry, I thought this was going to be a bit like a Father's Day type of thing. I thought the doctor might have mentioned, say in the script, say. Going back to see, oh, I've done this before, and that didn't work out too clever. But so I'm a bit skeptical about it. But she didn't. She was a bit like, oh, okay, I'm just trying to help. Come on, we've got a bit of continuity here, guys. What could happen before the Doctor's got to remember? I like the Spider one the least because of the ending. Yeah, the ending wasn't one of the best. But once again, it's another story where the aliens of the story are not the villain. Who is the villain? In last week's the Spider one, I can't remember the name of the episode, but it was the human that was the enemy. This one, was there an enemy? But if there was, it was the Indian Harry Potter dude. He was the enemy. What does this mean? Sorry, it means she was embarrassed to admit she was even a bloke. No, I think she was. I think it's because obviously a henna thing. It's tattoos are mainly for females, so maybe he's just gone. Well, I never did this when I was a man. So that's what I think. The graphics for this episode, yeah, I couldn't understand. I thought the setting I thought was brilliant itself. I mean, to the untrained eye, I would actually go as far to say, yeah, we're in India here. It's quite good. So the setting itself, I thought, was a brilliant setting, and yeah, some of the special effects quality I thought fit in. It was pretty good, but I think they could do better. I mean, the whole series so far, it's been steady for me. Rosa was obviously the best episode, in my honest opinion. Oh yeah, nice to see you as well, Scam. How you doing? But this episode, this whole series, apart from Rosa, which was a standout episode and one of the best ones that I've ever seen, and I stand by that. Me personally, that's for me. This whole season, it's just been a little bit in the middle. It's a bit meh. It's not been. But that's just my opinion. It's not been crap. It's not been amazing, brilliant. It's just been nicely slap bang in the middle. I've been content watching it. So I was just looking up and Strictly's on. Strictly. Anyway, guys, I just thought I'd do this live. Lots of no swearing yet, which is apart from crap. When I do, I'll tell you this, and I'll tell you this now. When I do my videos that I edit, there's lots of swearing in it. For you guys who've never seen Coronation Street, Harold Cropper, the what's her name now? The actress who plays in next week's episode. Anyway, there's an actress in next week's episode who played who originally was a male and then got transformed into a woman, and Hayley Cropper, who was in the British soap opera called Coronation Street, and obviously her real name before she changed into a man was Harold. The actress is actually a female actress, not transgender or anything like that, but she played a man who went into a woman and then married a man, and she's now dead. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you any longer. I just want to appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. That's it. Julie Hedsman Dalgam. So there we go. Thank you for that, Stephen. Can't pronounce it, but yeah, she's in next week's episode, and looks like, looking at the trailer, she could be a bit of a villainy character. I want next week's episode to be a banger from the start. I actually want to see some. I want to see some proper villains who would actually, at the end of the story, we can actually come back to years down the line. Like we've got Dalek Cybermen. I've seen nothing that. I've not seen hardly any villains, but if I do see a villain, I do want it to be a villain that can actually come back years after Jodie Whittaker has left the role. We could be on Doctor number 27, and I want to see the alien. Oh, I remember them from season 11. I want to see a good alien, and I've not seen one yet. Not necessarily alien, bad guy or girl. I'd like to see that, but it's going to be Alien, isn't it? Or an alien race or something. Anywho, 7 out of 10. Not one of the best. I preferred it a little bit more risque, a little bit more alien-y, Doctor Who-y. This to me wasn't very Doctor Who. If it wasn't for the sonic screwdriver, I'd say this was just a normal episode of maybe the Twilight Zone or something, or the Outer Limits, or even a Black Mirror. It just didn't hit home for me. It was okay, I liked it, but it wasn't one of the best things I've ever seen. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching. For those that did, if you're going to watch this back, then hi, guys. If you've got any ideas that you want me to do next week, shall I do a proper review? Shall I do another live video like this? Or would you prefer something a little bit different? Please let me know in the comments below. I'm off anyway to finish off my glass of Coke. No alcohol today. Check me out. And brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. Toodle pip. Bye.